Today is a special day for us because we have special guests that came all the way from South Korea to be here to speak about what they're doing in South Korea and also possible expansion here in the U.S. So very excited to have them here today. Today also is our Kickstarter, or today's the day that we launch our Wefunder at noon today. So very exciting day. We're pretty much having a launch party all day today. But I want to introduce Hanko with USAKO Group. Han is the one that's very instrumental in getting everybody here today, getting the South Korean companies here today. So Hanko, thank you so much. And but he's going to be the emceeing this event.
Hello, nice to meet you guys. I'm Hanko, like you said. I'd like to set today's special day. And I'm part of crypto world anyway. So for me, it's catching two birds with one stone. Somebody cut my microphone. Must be tricky. How is Jordan? Anyway, So like Jeff said, this morning we have a special group. We'll tell you about it. So it's basically a group of companies trying to expand their operations to USA, and most of this company has a crypto and blockchain element to it. We'll tell you all about it, what they do, all that. Okay. So they're still just thinkers. I'll try to give them a minute. Anyway, so most of you are here for crypto space, right? Blockchain crypto space, right? Good, awesome. Yeah. So thanks. No echo. I was about to karaoke. See, I'm a student die. It's like imagine when you go to club and then anyway, I'm going too far this morning. Anyway, so that's it. And I'm going to introduce my interested co-worker. Her name is Jay. She is the part of our board member and investor to USAKO Group.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. It's a rainy day. Let me just introduce my CEO of the company. Mr. Hanko is the CEO in USAKO Group, and he's the founder and president of CEO of USAKO Group and other tech-oriented investment companies. He is an ACC member of a Commerce, board member, and also professor at University University, investor in various venture capital companies, and Semi-Sony and ED was board member. And also he plays a role in other active roles in these companies here, down here. Congratulations. And floor to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and start the program. We've prepared several PowerPoint presentations you could see. So I'm going to start with what we do, basically introduction and greeting. So the company name is, banner all over USAKO Group. It's simple, USA, United States of America, KO, happens to be my last name, all right? So you can Google it, it'll pop up. And today's program is Go Global with USAKO Group. So I'll tell you more about that too. So you see all these flags, it's because this program is actually official program co-hosted by my company and South Korean government. So this is a pretty big deal for international setting. So first I want to tell you about what does USAKO Group do? Okay, what do we do? And then what this program is all about, and then we'll tell you all about these 5 companies. Okay. So we may probably do a little short in one company due to time. Okay, so first of all, what do we do? So we're international investment firm in U.S. and South Korean market, and so it's venture capital companies, okay, investment companies. So our company portfolio includes a company in the U.S., mostly USA, but some in Korea, South Korean market, and then also some in European invest. Okay, so as you can see, as an investor, not just my company, most of companies have very highly diversified geographical location in the investment geography. That's the way it is, right? That's why we're all here to consider cryptocurrency without borders. Pretty much same idea. So the motto is that we try to build a solid bridge between USA and South Korea. So we're basically, I mentioned that my company is an official partner of South Korean government. So what it means is that we have a partnership with multiple governmental entities from City of Seoul, multiple provincial government of South Korea, and then other cities as well. Okay. But we are the VC company, venture capital company. We do accelerating, also we do consulting as well. Offices, well, I live here. I'm from St. Louis. Office right here, and we have office in Seoul all the way to South Korea. We have to actually maintain 2 offices there. We have one in Houston, another one in Los Angeles. So now I'm going to tell you about our program. So we go by Go Global with USAKO Group. Name sounds fancy, right? But what we do is that this is basically it's our annual.
Very good.
Can you hear me? Thanks. I can hear wrong. So it's our annual program. We've been doing this for a while. The last one was right before pandemic, 2019, and then we stopped, obviously, and then we resuming it. So we're excited to start again. Okay, and then this program actually is again, like I said, co-hosted by South Korean government and my company, and then every year we do differently. This year, of course, we do with South Korean government because they wanted to do it with us, and the program entails to inviting 5 companies all the way from South Korea. Actually, the gentleman sitting right here, they're actually flew from South Korea for this purpose. They're here for a week. And they're not just anybody, okay? I'm proud to say that we received about 100 applicants. So South Korean government bet them, okay? South Korean government put their name on it, they're not gonna joke around, right? As a government, right? And then we do our own due diligence, USAKO Group, and then we invest in those guys. Not those guys, these people, okay? All right, so as a VC, that's our job, and as a co-hosted program, we do it together like that. And these companies, like I said, obviously they want to expand their operation to USA, and that's why they're here, okay? And then these companies covers the various industries from crypto to blockchain and manufacturing, and all of them has high-tech element to it, some form of intellectual property. And of course, we are investor is for all of these companies. And as I understand, we are broadcasting to all of the world right now because when we received when Jeff said, "Hey, we'll try to do this together," I told him, "Why don't we expand to all of the world?" So I know there are people out there in Korea and South America watching this right now, okay? I don't know, they're gonna put I'm gonna talk to them. If you happen to see me, you can put your comment in there where you're at, okay? So we have multiple people did the registration for remote viewing, okay? Okay, well, here's the example of what we did. 2019, right before pandemic. So these are pictures taken from Seoul, South Korea. Okay, so I brought about 12 people, each representing different business companies, and you probably happen to see the familiar faces. Jeff is right there. He came to South Korea with me. This is October of 2019, and then a lot of them. Gary's right there. Okay, so, this is actually, and then I don't know, like Jim Eberlin. He's the founder of the company. His company is actually worth worth at probably $1.2 billion. And then along with the other business people and professionals. So that's what we do. And these are the pictures of what demo day we did in 2019. And then November October I brought about a dozen companies to South Korea. And then November we brought in several companies to here, like we're doing now, okay? So in other words, this is nothing new. I just want to give you an example of it. Okay. Okay, now, goal, the program goal. Okay, why are we doing this? You probably have some idea right now, but in the big picture, we'll try to bring U.S. South Korean market closer together so we can work together, make some money together, right? So, right. Well, instead of fighting each other, and somebody's doing that right now, but we'll try to work together, right? And also, we'll move up here. So we'll try to provide. I mean, we're doing this not just by words. We are putting actually our skin in the game. So we're investing in these companies, and then we are also trying to provide soft landing pad, meaning that we'll give them basically advice, mentoring, networking, all of that. Okay, so this is part of the thing. So that's what we do. And then also we are trying to make a contribution to our own market. That's why I brought here. I'll be honest with you. I live here. I'm a big fan of St. Louis. As you all know, St. Charles, St. Louis. And they could have gone to Silicon Valley or New York, okay, or San Francisco, all right? But they're here because I convinced them to come here. These are founders of these companies. They're busy people, but they took a week out, just come here, try to find a way to settle in. So we, as a group, USAKO group and them, we're trying to make a contribution to our economy. Okay, so you know why? Because I live here, I want the best, right? And I don't think anybody would oppose to that, right? Unless you're from LA or San Francisco here. But I don't think anybody here. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to just talk a little more about how both markets benefit each other. Okay, as you know, South Korean market is one of the strongest ally of the United States. Luckily, right? Thank God for me, right? So, right. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. 1, 2. Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not used to this microphone. So I want to tell me. I've been telling them that what kind of value we trying to bring here, and what kind of value we can bring. We give it to them so they can bring home, right? So there's one place, and this is actually another picture we took 2019, actually, right? So this is in Seoul. That's actually Gary. Yeah. So we had a meeting with the South Korean government official. Actually, he's one of the person in charge, and we were discussing the opportunities. So this specific meeting, we talked about both of them. What kind of opportunities that American companies can find in South Korea, and then what kind of value that South Korean companies can find in the U.S. market. We were discussing that actually. So this happened to be one of the incubation center called the Seoul Startup Hub. Seoul Startup Hub, actually, it's the largest startup hub in South Korea, and they have about 500 companies in that campus. Okay? It's a huge campus. A lot of you probably been to CIC Cortex, right? Locally. So the size is about 5 times bigger than Cortex. So, and then they're doing it because the government can afford it. Okay, government, public money. Okay, so as a global partner, I have an office there, which they gave me an office, and then so I become a lot of times I give them a direct input from Americans' perspective, North American perspective. Okay, because I live here, I'm an investor. They value that. They invite me over to help out the part of decision-making process. So in other words, I'll be honest with you, I get to be able to open a lot of doors in South Korea. That's how I'm able to do this, okay? Also, I'm served on the board of South Korean Presidential Advisory Group. So what it means is they fly me over to South Korea once a year, and then I get to have a lunch with the president of South Korea. Seriously, okay? Well, I haven't done it the last couple of years, but I think they're going to start doing this year. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little more about South Korean market. Okay, so and like I said, South Korean market is really, unique in a way that the government is really trying to drive. Okay, their goal is simple. South Korean government goal is simple. They want to globalize the market early stage from the beginning. They want to create jobs. Okay, and then they want to integrate, the fund and the talent. Okay, which is really smart. Okay, so they know that if they don't, they're gonna get behind. They're doing it with actual resource. Okay, so the picture I showed you with the meeting with South Korean government earlier, they have a program where they do have a money set aside as a grant to companies coming from overseas. So I personally know a company his name is Philip. He's from Kenya. Okay, so I have an office in second floor, right above the entrance. His office is third floor, right above that. But he's from Kenya, opening a business in South Korea. You get it? And then he's getting support from the South Korean government. That's the dynamic there. Okay, it's a very internationalized, globalized market. And another advantage of South Korean market is that they're very competitive, as in high expectation as consumer. Okay, so most of you, except some new generation here, Motorola, mobile company, right? When they released the product, they tested in South Korean market first. I don't know if you knew or not. Okay, and Samsung, a lot of you have Samsung mobile phone. They do a pre-testing, and in South Korean market, Samsung doing a pre-testing makes sense because Samsung is originally from there. But why Motorola? Because South Korean market is very high expectation, meaning the customers, South Koreans are they want to have really high quality. Their expectations above us actually. Because I have an office here. I travel there every other month, and every time I'm surprised at what kind of expectation they have. And then also they want it fast, so it's not an easy customer please. So if a product or services, a company can satisfy South Korean consumers, you'll likely be able to satisfy just about everybody in the world. Okay, that's why Motorola was testing their product before release in South Korean market. And if you've been to South Korea, you will know because they're all full around, since they're here. Yeah, in case they also investment, they look at it, they do a due diligence really quick. They'll write a check. Or your product, if they like this certain things, they'll look at it, and if it fits, they'll do their due diligence. They'll jump right on. Okay, and then so in other words, product life cycle is very short there, which is good because a lot of companies spend $hundreds of millions just to find out what kind of how your product is accepted to a certain market. There alone is a lot of cost, right? So if you test in South Korean market, you save a lot of money because time is short. Also, market is geographically small. The country is actually, the whole country size is in South Korean. Do you know how big it is? It's like a 1/5 of Missouri. I'm not kidding. Very small, and there's a lot of people, so it's advantage to a product test market. Okay. Also, stable economy, as it's basically politically have to stable. I'm an investor. I'm American. So when I put my money in it, I want to put it somewhere safe. So if somebody decides to turn off the switch, I'll lose my money. I don't want to go in there, right? South Korea is not the kind of market. And then also the workforce is they have a highly skilled labor there because of college degree doesn't mean much, but most of them are have a college degree. But also countries the illiterate rate is almost to zero. Okay, so the government's really driving to educating people. Also, so also it's South Korea is a peninsula, so it's a great geographically located between Russia, China, and Japan. Okay, so it's geographically a good gateway. And then a few more things, more directly, what kind of opportunities a American company can find from a grant. I told you about some grant of opportunity by South Korean government, and then also a lot of research analysis program, and then also incubation program. And then also they have supporting a lot of startup education and startup consulting. And Jeff, I've been talking about great crypto world over there too, of course, right? Because it gets to crypto space. By the way, the crypto space, I'm going to talk a little more about it. But the crypto is the popularity and level of interest in crypto and crypto space is actually higher than us. Okay, because right now, younger generation in USA, we're just talking to a couple of younger generations here about the normies over there they're already doing it, been there, done that. Actually, no way too much. That's why Korea banned ICO years ago because the younger generation go take out a loan and then invest and lose money. But they learned their lesson. So if you follow the news, you probably realize that they just elected a new president. Okay. About 2 weeks ago, and he's going to sworn in May 1st. And one of his promise was that he's gonna start open the crypto space, meaning that so he very likely, not likely, he already said he's going to just for task force. So he's gonna legalize the SEO again. Okay, it's been banned, he's gonna legalize, which is a good sign for us. So they'll probably put some different what we call restrictions or something, but they will do that. So this one I don't have to tell you because you are mostly from here.
Han, what is the new president's name?
Yoon, yeah. And now I want to tell you a few things about USAKO Group, some members' ability, who we are. So we have expertise in wide variety of industry, from IT. I happen to have a degree in engineering, so and then investment. So that's I feel really comfortable. But people in manufacturing, biotech, we have a couple of medical doctors on our board, and then telecom, life science, and then even autonomous vehicle. We have expertise in there, and actually both sides of the ocean. So we have continents people in the USA as well as in South Korea. And of course, not to mention robotics. And of course, we can provide services in funding, of course, capital investment, and then also management and finance accounting. And just like we have a couple of us IP attorneys on our board on both sides, in Korea and in USA, and then also the financing and accounting. And so the final goal is that we want to be able to provide a soft landing pad to companies who want to come over to USA or any US companies go over there. Okay, so here are 5 companies I've been telling you about. Okay, so they're going to present up here in a couple of minutes, but I want to at least touch base with you what kind of companies you're looking at here. Okay, so first one is called Taehyung Industry. This is a manufacturing-oriented company. By the way, all the company representatives sitting right here in this room. So we'll get to meet them in a few minutes. But that's that. And then so Taehyung Industry is a high-tech manufacturing company. And then ImageWorks is also high-tech image and printing material manufacturing company. And then also Dawa is a very unique company where they have a solution to provide measuring carbon footprint and then how to reduce the size of it. Okay, it's very neat. They're creating a whole ecosystem with blockchain and crypto element to it. Okay, so and then Sahara Street, you probably heard from me, at least a couple of people. It's a blockchain software platform that built for real estate transactions. Okay, and we do have a crypto element to it. Actually, we issued a cryptocurrency already. We listed it trading right now. Okay, if you want to talk to me about that, okay. I'm not sell my token, by the way. Okay, so I wanna clear that. I'm in multiple. I got hands in multiple areas, so I'm not just sell my token right now. But we do have a token, and then it's trading right now. And then MyPrice Live is an e-commerce software platform for online marketplace with intellectual property. Okay, so this also has a crypto element to it as well. So that's the introduction for it. And then, by the way, for the presentation of these companies, because of the language barrier, we'll help out. I'll help out most of these companies because I'm their investor. So you will see me up here a lot here, okay? But they're sitting right here. So, yeah. So I'm going to start with MyPrice Live. It's okay. So before I want to introduce Cherry Jung. Cherry Jung, can you stand up? Say a few words. She's from Korea, and she's the MyPrice Live has two operational area. One in geographically, one in Korea, one in USA, and then she's representing Korean side. Okay. So.
Hi, I'm Cherry Jang, the CEO of MyPrice Live Korea. Thank you for inviting me. Thank
Welcome.
You.
All righty. So now, Bill Kim here is going to help to present the company here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Bill Kim, and I'm representing My Price Live. I hope everybody gets a good understanding of what My Price Live is. To put it simply, My Price Live is a combination of Amazon, Facebook, and Shopify. Okay, let's begin. So nowadays, everybody's on their smartphones from the moment they wake up until they go to bed, especially millennials to Gen Z, all the way up to Generation Alpha. They're on their phones. So similar to the traditional banking's credit score system, what would you think if we could analyze someone's shopping history or social media usages and make that into like a activity score or activity points? So yeah, that is what My Price Live is doing. We're analyzing that data and creating something called an activity score system. Okay, our main feature is something called My Code, and it consists of people's generation, gender, region, etc. Of course, this is all anonymous and handled in the background with strict data privacy measures. Yeah, just think of it like Netflix algorithms. It analyzes what you watch and it recommends you like what you want to watch later, something like that. So yeah, we already obtained a patent for this actually. Our number one priority is an adequate data management system. So we analyze the data and we categorize it. Activities such as product referrals are one way to increase your activity points. So yeah, I believe that it can be used in line within the fintech industry, along with the credit score system. We're based on IoT and fintech, combining both online and offline shopping experiences. Let me give a short example. Let's say Jenny, who's 22, living in Seoul, buys this lotion and she really likes it. So she recommends it to her friend Susan. And if she buys the same lotion, then Jenny's activity scores increased, which means she has a higher discount rate and gets more rewards. So we're starting with QR code based scanning, but we're later expanding into LED panels. So please stay tuned. Yeah. Lastly is about our team. Ms. Cherry Jung is CEO, and Dr. Eunice Ko is a medical doctor in New York, and she's leading the US division. And Dr. Han Ko over there is the COO of the company. Okay, thanks for listening. And we wish to become a prevalent global platform that combines Facebook, Amazon, and Shopify. Thank you.
Trying to set up your screen here. Give me a second.
Okay, so this is about My Price Live. Any questions? We're gonna have a lot more time, but I'll take probably one or two quick questions right now, and then go ahead.
The score process, what is the number system that you're going to base that on? Is that 1 to 100 or several hundred, or how will that work?
Actually, it's gonna be resolution, right? Good question. We are gonna score as the numbers up to 100 percentage wise, 100% percentile, so probably about 100%, you know. But it's gonna be a lot more than just a simple. So in other words, get to they say 98%. Get to that, there's multiple element to it, which based on certain algorithm, okay, which is proprietary here, of course, but yeah. So that's actually how we plan it, okay. So any other questions? Yeah. So yeah. Yes, sir.
Is it all about referrals, or is there more to it? Is it sort of like Google Maps, where I can leave like ratings and reviews just to the public and like pictures and stuff like that, or is it just like recommending to friends in my network?
Actually, both. We're gonna focus on recommending referrals, but we're gonna tie to multiple other variables such as what is the review of the product from a. So let's say I think he mentioned about. Sorry about getting this. Can you hear me? Sorry. Oh, I'm low on battery too. Sorry. Lotion, right? So, example, lotion. If lotion has a low quality, after I try to sell it, doesn't make sense, right? You got to bring value, right? You know, in other words, so that also part of factor as well. Okay, so that's something that we are going to be handling as a part of algorithm. Okay, so yeah. So, any questions? Maybe a question to her or, okay, alrighty, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's that, and then, we're going to, sorry. I'm gonna move on to second company. Second company is, 1 second, please. Okay, some of you, like I said, have probably heard about this company, because this is, not only, I'm an investor, but I actually, co-founder from the beginning, okay? So this is my baby, you know? Right here. So like I said, Sierra Street, the purpose is to provide a software platform, which provides transparency and control to the customer for commercial, I mean, not just commercial, but real estate transactions, okay? So that's what, we're trying to do. And if I elaborate a bit more, most of you probably have experience in buying and selling your property, real estate property, right? Your home or investment property or not, right? You know, so I actually list some of that. We have multiple layers. When I say layers, it's parties that we get involved, okay? So let's kind of go over that. We have a buyer and seller, got a broker or agent between, right? At least one or two. And then we have a title company, an escrow company, and then also appraisal, and then also building inspection, right? And then also if you buy or sell a commercial property, we have to do something called environmental study. It goes phase 1 and 2, which costs more time and money, okay? And then there's a financing broker in your agent a lot of times, especially for commercial real estate brokers, commercial real estate transactions. Also, you know, there's a lender, the actual lender, and then providing the fund actually, and then underwriters. And then of course there's insurance. Here's an insurance expert sitting right here. So yeah, not to forget. So when you buy, let's say I'm buying this building. I don't own this building, by the way, just for the sake of it. Okay, I don't know who owns it, but anyway, say I'm going to try to buy this building. I have to work with the entire parties, which is fine. I'm not trying to not to work with them, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm going back to the question I had for you. When you buy and sell a property, how many times you feel that you're in control of the whole process? You had a donut out there, Mario's Donut, happened to be really good donut from next door. When I walk in the store, I know you be paying $2. I know what flavor I'm getting. Chocolate or strawberry, I know what it tastes like. I know what it looks like, right? I know how much like exactly. That's a customer control. I have it because I'm paying for it. Commercial real estate, I never had an experience in my life. Yeah, I'm a second generation commercial real estate investor. And since my parents, I've been doing this, and I never had this experience in my whole life. And I was thinking, why? This is 21st century. We have innovation technology. Why don't we have a solution? And so that's why the motivation of this project. Okay. So again, I'm not competing with them. We're providing a tool and platform based on blockchain, which enables for customers to gain control and transparency of what's going on. When I buy this building, let's say X amount of dollars, they're asking for it. We go through a negotiation price, sign a contract. There's a multiple called contingencies, right? Usually 3 contingencies: financing, inspection, and then title. If one of them fails, I have a right to renegotiate or walk away. Okay, it's a complicated process. Blockchain provides something called smart contract just for that purpose. So why don't we use that one to make it seem as simple? So imagine this, that I'm in subject contract to the seller of this product building, and then I actually put down the deposit, right? Honest money, they call it. And then I'm trying to go through the entire process, which is titled through all of these. I want to be able to log in the morning dashboard that, hey, where's my title search is at? If there is a problem with title company will let me know, okay? I want to be the first one who know about it and who knows exactly what's going on, how much I'm paying these guys. And right now, the process is not exactly that. They said, here's the estimate. Oh, X amount of dollars, estimate. And then I wait, and a lot of times the broker or somebody, my attorney will call me, hey, there is a title clean or there's an issue, okay? I don't want to go through somebody because as a real estate investor, I know exactly how to save money and time. When you look at title information, there's a page called exceptions, okay? Usually page number 3 or 4. In there, usually it tells you there's a problem, okay? Whenever, as soon as it comes out, I'm the first one to see it. Because if there's a problem, I want to stop the process, and then I want to save the time and money, right? Right now, what's happening is that I don't blame the title company or agent, but a lot of times there's an issue, they'll go through the queue and then wait, and then clock's ticking. Okay, every day I lose money as a buyer. Like I said, when you title company do a title search, I want to be the first one to know about it. They don't have to tell me. My platform will flag it and send the email text to you so I can act on right away, same day. Right now, process, you have to rely on somebody. I don't even know what's going on, and then somebody will call a few days later or several days later that, hey, by the way, you have a title problem. What is it? Okay, wait, I'll send you by email. That's like a whole week, okay? Why do we wait? And that whole week is, I lost whole week during a contingency period right there, which is money, okay? That's the one example I have, right? So anyway, you have to go through multiple, so the dashboard we have will be able to provide the ability for the customers, paying customer, buyer and seller, to log in and have this complete process in control in their hand. That's the goal, okay? I mean, honestly, a lot of brokers, any real estate brokers here, agents here, raise your hand if you do. Okay, well, good. So you know, Brad, actually, we talked about this multiple times, but so there's a process involved. We are not competing with the brokers and agents. Brad knows about it. We had this conversation. We put a tool to make this job easier, and in other words, if customer, buyer, seller feels comfortable, they're more likely going to the purchasing transaction process. Okay, because otherwise, when you're a first-time buyer, especially first-time buyer, no experience, when you look at this, God, am I going to be able to? Do I need to hire a lawyer? And how much going to pay for this? It scares them. Okay, but when you go into a process like this, a simple, seamless process in one dashboard, you can actually have a more peace of mind, which brings the customer onto the table quicker. Okay, that's another value I'm trying to bring to the agent and brokers. Okay. So again, I think I went over a lot of value propositions, but I'm going to list that again to summary. Bring control and transparency back to clients, which is buyer and seller. Okay, I give you example of I'm going to give you an example of it. When I give you an example of a donut, but when I go to Starbucks, I know exactly what kind of donut, what kind of coffee I'm getting, how much it is. I know what it smells like, tastes like. In real estate property process, real estate transaction, I know what the property look like. I know how much it's going to cost, but I don't have a feel for the exact where things at. Right? So we, Sahara Street, can provide the software platform based on blockchain. And we're basically using that software platform. We're going to provide ability to track and transparency the process, the progress. Okay, and then we already established a couple of use cases. One in South Korea. That actually I'm trying to see, but there's a picture of it's pictures on our webpage. When you Google Sahara Street LLC, South Korea will pop up. We have actually established a contract, an agreement, actually including operational agreement with them that they're going to be using our platform. Also, they're going to use our token that we issued and trading right now. Okay, so but that resort is called. They actually changed the name after our company, Sahara Resort. It used to be Pyeongchang Resort, and Pyeongchang is a town that 2018 Winter Olympic Games took place. And that probably is the same block, about a block away from the actual stadium. So it's a pretty high-profile resort property, but they agreed to not only work with us, but we have be able to work with them, operate it. Also, they actually, they already decided to change their name to our company, which is Sarah Street. Okay, so we're gonna work together. And then now USA, we also established another case. The teams, we have a pretty nice expertise from all over the world, from real estate, from USA. We have a board member from one of the large brokerage company, USA, CBRE. He's one of our board members. And of course, we have people in South Korea, and then also people in the Middle East. Okay. And now I want to talk about this a bit more, providing multiple options for funding. So let's say our platform is actually not just the USA domestic, okay? Because as I mentioned, we created a team from the beginning because we want to globalize our platform. So let's say there's a property in Dubai, large hotel, and owner is a British investor, want to sell it to Australian buyer, all right? So they go through entire transaction on my platform, and then at the end of the day, when you do closing, you're gonna fund it, right? Right now, what do? You usually wire the money, right? All of you crypto investors here, now how much you like wiring money? I hate the word wiring money. Come on, we don't do wire. Yeah. So we're gonna provide. We're not gonna take that option away from them, but we're gonna give multiple other options, saying that you can fund it by sending the Bitcoin or Ethereum or use our token. That's why we exactly added to it, because we want to make sure that they have advantage to take advantage of our medium. Okay, and it's publicly, it's trading, it's listed in trading right now. So also we're going to give them incentives to whoever using our token, because our business model is not only a platform, but since we have crypto, we want that to be successful as well. So that's that, right? So another business model we have is that data warehouse, data mining, not mining, but data warehouse mostly, as a real estate transaction business. We're gonna be giving a lot of data. In other words, if somebody buy this property, they go through our own platform, we'll have this property value. And the brokers, agents, gentlemen standing behind you, like, don't you love it? You don't have to even go your due diligence, just come to us and then click on it. Everything is, all the allowed public information will be displayed right in front of you, right? So, including, what kind of results from environmental inspection you had before. Don't you love that? Yeah. So that is actually what we're trying to do. It's a value we're trying to bring customers. So we have a subscription business model for our business as well. Anyway, here's a few examples. We talked about that, and smart contract, I mentioned that. And then here's a few companies. Anyway, this is about Sahara Street. Okay, thank you. Now, I'm going to present you with one more company right here. And this is a very unique company in a way that this is actually a well-established company. So I want to introduce the company to you. It's Taeyong Industry, actually. Mr. Shim, he's sitting there. Could you say a few words? He's the company owner,
Good morning.
founder.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sam Shin, and we appreciate your invitation today. Thank you again.
So on behalf of Taeyong Industry, I'm going to present this next presentation for you as well. Okay. Again, we work together with them. So Taeyong Industry is actually, the name Taeyong is pretty simple in my mind. Taeyong means great brothers. That's what it means in Korean, literally. Okay. The reasons why here, they're actually yeah, so their company is actually already 65 years old company. Okay? this is not a startup. They're probably coming into USA as a kind of a startup because of their technology and experience, but they're a well-established company, and they're into metal casting and fabrication. And then for heavy machinery, meaning bulldozer, forklift, things like that. Okay? And their customers already include the Volvo, Hyundai, Samsung, Bobcat, and Tucson, and then multiple other companies. Okay? And their goal is expand their operation to USA in terms of manufacturing and then sales. Okay? Especially they're trying to expand to Caterpillar and John Deere. Try to build a relationship with them. If you know somebody, let me know. I'll make you happy. Okay, I'm trying to help them out. Okay, so their pain point is this: the problem. Pandemic taught them a lesson because the supply chain was having severe. They're facing severe challenges. Supply chain. Okay, so what they've been doing is that they've been importing raw material, a lot of metals from USA, also USA and other countries, and then build in South Korea and ship it back to US and global markets. Okay, and you know how long it's going to take and how much cost now for supply chain, right? They cannot ship, right? So a lot of goods and raw material going out or coming back into Long Beach, California area, or the Gulf Coast. But it's become a challenge every time because pandemic. Okay, so this is their goal is improve their process to cope with the challenges. Okay, so I'll tell you about it. So they're proposing to build their manufacturing and sales base in USA for a couple of reasons. They want to secure and improve supply chain. I'm going to give you a little more examples over here. But when you build in overseas, send it back to USA because a lot of their customers are US based, like Bobcat. They are all, even Hyundai is surprising. A lot of Hyundai, they're a South Korean company, but they have a lot of operation in USA. So either Hyundai or they have to ship it here. Right? And one of the reasons that I brought them here to our region is that we're all from St. Louis, and we appreciate this. We have this is our cargo distribution hub. Okay, that's why we have America's central port right on the Mississippi River. Actually, we are having a meeting with them in a couple of days, meeting with the actual executive director. So when I based on my research, Mississippi River provides the best waterway for the cargo, and then also we have two airports, and then there's train goes right into it, and also two major highways connecting right there. Okay, so it's a no-brainer. Also, the land has to be cheap. You cannot build your manufacturing or warehouse in New York or Los Angeles because it's not going to work. So that is the unfair advantage for our region. So here is a couple of examples. So they have a technology where they call it SRS, stands for Sand Reclaimed System. When you do a metal casting, they use a lot of sand. Okay, so at the end of production, all the sand will reclaim the heat. They melt the metal, right? So there's a tremendous heat, and to cool it takes about fully recycle, and a lot of times they have to throw it away and then start from the beginning, which is a lot of waste production. So the processing time is usually 72 hours, but they have a process called SRS, and which takes about 40 minutes, which cuts down the cost and environmentally friendly, and then their productivity is a lot higher. Okay, so here's a picture. Now, I mentioned two things: metal casting, fabrication. So this technology is RMC. It's called the raw material charging system. It's a system where it's technology where enable them to recycle the material. Okay, fabrication, a lot of metal cutting and then bending and things like that. There are a lot of byproduct coming out, and it's all waste. So the goal is maximize and minimize the byproduct so that you can win the game. And then again, the goal is to lower the material cost, especially the supply chain problems, and then the productivity goes up. Okay. So there are two things. So here is a picture of the company, their clients. Okay, so Hyundai got a couple of Hyundai multiple divisions, but they're actually heavy industry division, and then Doosan, and then Volvo, and Samsung, and then also Bobcat. Here is here is a work process. They have about 15 steps. I'm not going to go over every step of the way, but I'm going to just help you to glance through this, and then so you have what it takes for all these steps. Okay. All right. And the parts. So what is the actual heavy machinery part they're making? Excavators, and then forklift and loaders, and then counterweight. Okay. So they're doing a lot of those industry. Okay. And this is actually kind of repetition of that, so I'm going to skip that. And here's a certificate, and then of the process. Anyway, so that's for this company. Thank you. I will actually take any questions in general or anything, cryptocurrency, anything. Okay. And then if you want to talk to specifically about one of these companies I presented, that's fine. Or you want to know about South Korean's markets trend in crypto or anything, I'll help you answer that as far as I know. Yes, go ahead.
You mentioned sand. There's a lot of really great sand companies that are within a stone's throw of our area. So that's outstanding.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
all kinds of opportunity in our area.
Right, exactly. That's why this is probably one of the best areas they can come, like because of the operating cost, and then the material and the accessibility. The barge on the Mississippi River, you cannot beat that. Yeah. So that's why I'm having them to meet the ACP, American Central Port. Good point, actually. Yes, ma'am.
Are they doing other material handling, like conveyor systems and things like that, or is it just the machine, the forklifts and things like that?
Actually, right now they're doing heavy machinery. Heavy machinery. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'll ask the general question of what is the market trend in South Korea for the crypto?
Right, good question. So I'm going to repeat the question. So because some people on the online, there's some people from Korea watching, South America watching. So the question was, what is the general trend of crypto market in South Korea? That was the question. The answer is, in a nutshell, very positive. And we talked about this briefly about half an hour ago, but politically, well, the cryptocurrency is tied to a lot of political decision-making process, right? So politically, I would call it green light because they just elected the South Korean president about 2-3 weeks ago, and he publicly announced that he's for the crypto market and not against it, which is great news for all of us. And traditionally, South Korean market was kind of ahead of us in terms of investing in crypto space. Okay, so as you know, South Korean government banned ICO because reasons that a lot of people lost money. Okay, it's very volatile market. As we know, crypto market is not a conservative or market. It's compared to regular stock market. I mean, people can make money, but can lose money quickly too. So they banned it some years ago, but now the market is getting mature, meaning that they learned their lesson. So that's why this current president that they just elected, Mr. Yoon, I think he asked me, Mr. Yoon, Seok Yeol Yoon, last name Yoon, he's going to be sworn in May 1st. He actually said crypto is something that we have to integrate to our economy, and we have to do right. So he created just getting a task force in crypto policy. So.
I'm not familiar with the governmental politics inside of Korea, but is it where the president there is now pro crypto, but then are there like a House and a Congress that are now going to gnash teeth and complain, or how will that work inside of the South Korean government?
Good question. Yeah. So the question is that how the inside of the political system works for cryptocurrency trade and trend. Okay. So the answer is that, let me just explain to you. South Korea has a little different political system, okay? So there's a presidential office, okay, executive power. And then there is, of course, Congress, right? There are, 3 branches, just like we do. But instead of their House and representative, they only have one parliament. That's it, okay? So a little more simpler. I don't know if it's good or bad, but simpler. Luckily, a lot of politicians realize that the crypto is the way of future. It's part of their future because the opponent who lost the election, his name is Lee, he was also for crypto. So crypto perspective, there wasn't much to lose between which was they have slight differences of opinion and what, but they both were saying. And then June, he won the election a few weeks ago, but he already started putting a task force together, look into it, and what are we going to do? So the word is that it has not been officially announced, but the word is that they probably allow ICO gain. Okay, when that happens, I know what happened back in some years ago. People are all over. Okay, so a lot of people are poised to watch it. Okay, what is policy? And then I think that crypto market is just it's not tied to geographical location, right? There's the borders, right? So if somebody basically creating a lot of demand, price will go up, or somebody decide to dump it, you'll lose, right? So that is a trend. So overall, to answer to both your question in simple form, South Korean, the future for crypto market is pretty bright in the future because all these political things and also the people's interest in want to invest and motivation to invest in crypto is not diminishing. It's actually only increasing because of So people are watching. So yeah.
I have a question about Sahara Street.
Yep.
I'm wondering what is the point of the token? Maybe you've covered that already, because I always think like when it comes to real estate and deeds, those are like the perfect use case for NFTs. If you make a deed into an NFT, it's easy just to look it up. You don't have to waste the use case like that. So,
Right. Yeah. The question was that. Alrighty. So how the NFT fits into the Sahara Street? Actually, you actually right there. Actually, already at that point. I didn't get a chance to talk about it because of limited time. But we do have a NFT element to it that not only the deed, but also other processes can be NFTized so that it can be also marketed. Also, we go further, we're digitalize the property, right? So let's say this property costs $100 million. I cannot buy $100 million because I don't have enough down payment for it. But if you slice it into small fractions, you can do it. But that's tied to a lot of government compliance and regulations. So that's why we're not saying of course we have a plan to do it, but we are trying to work with. We did study already what it takes to go that direction, but we found out that there's a lot of different challenges also. Now open up, basically you walk walk into the space of security exchange laws, SEC laws and all that, because you're actually there's a whole different industry. So, but we do have a plan to go that direction. Good. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Another Sahara Street question. So Sahara Street is an online platform that all of the entities listed in your problems list jack into to grab information and then process those duties, or you've got people on staff in Sahara Street that do all of those things to make it a one-stop shop, and that's why it's more efficient? I was kind of fuzzy on that.
Right. Good question. We thought about it a lot, actually. Our answer is we're going to create a platform, consolidated platform, provide all those services, but we're not going to provide all those services ourselves. So we'll partner with brokers and insurance companies, and then also financing or title company. Okay, so they will be all our customers. That's why I included
and so they'll be piping in through a software platform?
Correct, so platform, right.
Great.
So that's why, let's say, earlier example, I give you inspection. So if the title search, there's an issue with title, they will input the result of title search. And as soon as it's entered, I'll know about it. Because, okay, there is an issue, there's a break in title for 10 years ago. What is this? Okay.
So the platform of activity and information that's collected is collected inside of Sahara Street, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So that is why another business model that we have.
Right.
Hanko.
Thank you, Han.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, any more questions? Or, no? Okay, if you have any questions to this ladies and gentlemen from South Korea, let me know. Kelsey, any questions? No?
Not really.
Okay. Good. All righty. Otherwise, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot one thing, and most important. I got carried away with a company. There's one important company that I want to use. It's called Dawa. You're gonna love it. Okay. So I told you about Dawa. Actually, I'm gonna pull the slide up. So Dawa is, I'm glad Jeff here is. I was about to call. I was asking to grab Jeff. He read my mind. Dawa is a company that try to basically save our Earth. Okay, their motto is we only have one Earth. Okay, and it's not just words. They create a whole ecosystem to actually do it, and you'll be amazed. Okay. Actually, I met him in Korea in November. We built a relationship, and then we got this far already. Okay, we decided to invest and then we become partners. Well, start with the name Dawa. Simple. D-A-W-A. In Korean, it means that all together. Okay, so all together what? Well, we all together we're trying to save our only planet we have. Okay. Somebody, popular guy in European, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's some hot shots in Europe. He said 5 minutes to create these bottles. Takes 5 minutes to use it, and then it takes 500 years to make it disappear naturally. Okay. Sad part is only 9% of these plastics are getting recycled. Okay, 9%, less than 10%. Well, so the rest of them gets burned or get buried. Okay. That brings us to a conversation about the carbon footprint. Okay. We talk about carbon credit, carbon footprint, and all that, right? So global trend is we are going to make it more friendly for our environment. Me as a end user customer drinking water out of this bottle, and people who are selling this water, I guess it's from Sam's. Okay, we are all responsible. Well, how do you do that? Well, they have a solution for it. So their value proposition is pretty simple. They're going to create reusables. Okay, it sounds really strange. Okay, so bear with me. Reusable containers. Okay, so let's say I went to Mario's this morning, get a paper cup. Well, what am I doing with it at the end of the day? I'm putting the trash can. It goes to either get burned or buried, right? Whenever you do this, there is a carbon footprint with actual number in it. We did a little research not about a few days ago. 60 grams of carbon dioxide gets. It's cost us 60. It generates 60 grams of CO2 from the manufacturing to buried or burned. Okay. So if I use up 10 of these, 600. If I use 100 of these, that's 6 kilograms of CO2. Okay, I'm not kidding. I didn't know when I did that, I feel really surprised, and I felt really guilty because I didn't know I was making that kind of environmental impact negatively to our community. So their solution is that they're going to not just going to actually in the process already making these reusable cups based on stainless steel. Okay, the reason stainless steel is because it's durable, and then also it's good for human. Thank you, Jeff. Good for human consumption, not the cup, but whatever inside. I'm going to give you an example of a Korean example. Okay, so in Korea, Starbucks already using plastic reusable cups in Starbucks. They are using it. Okay, I don't have a sample here or not, but it's made of plastic. Yeah.
It's made out of plastic. Okay, so it's not made out of stainless steel. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the problem with plastic is that when you're done, it gets washed and recycled, okay? But actually, I don't know if he has here or not, but sample is that he brought a sample with him. And actually, when I was in Korea in November in my office, I saw that plastic cup, but I think he had a statistics about 3 cycles, it gets broken. It's plastic, okay? Also, do you really wanna use the plastic cup over and over? Because there's a microplastic. When I drink it, I'm not sure how many I'm taking in my body, okay? So that is all questions. So basically, as of now, our technology proves that stainless steel eliminate those problems, okay? So that is why they're going to. Now, when they said they're not just making stainless steel, they actually have patent already. See that? I don't know if you can see this or not. There is a barcode, okay? So there is a laser burn barcode on these cups, okay? So I know you're gonna ask me, okay, so if I take a Starbucks coffee this morning or Mario's coffee this morning, when I'm done, what do you do with this cup? You said it's reusable. How are you gonna handle it? Well, it can be collected and then into the collection center or the place where I buy things. Go back to Mario's or Starbucks. It gets washed, recycled, and gets back to the store. Okay. So the value is that the end user, not end user, the customer, which is a restaurant, will be less burdened with the dishwashing on site because they're going to do all the cleaning and sanitizing back to them. And the quality control will be tracked by QR code, okay? So it knows where we use the word washed and then how we'll back and packaged to went back to the not only that, he actually has a patent, and then I'm going to show you that next slide here, but patent where antiviral, antibacterial material on the outside, because the pandemic taught us lesson dearly to all of us. So actually that technology already patented and then also vetted by European company. So they acquired a European certificate for it. Okay, so Eurolab approved it. Okay, so they actually have that process. Another important factor is that now, as a Starbucks, so by the way, I don't have any financial ties to Starbucks here. Okay, I'm just using an example here. Okay, Starbucks is actually it's bound to comply with the laws in South Korea. Already happening. April 1st, which is a few days ago, about 3 days or 4 days ago, they cannot use these disposable cups anymore inside. They still allow it to go, okay, until a few more months. But if you not provide this drink on your cup, they get fined. That law became effective April 1st, okay? And so now they already have to do it, all right? And then at the end of June, they have to slash certain percentage of usage for 2 rows, okay? So a lot of these companies in South Korea right now are scrambling, okay? If they operate based on what they've been doing traditionally, it's no good. They'll get fined, okay? So they've been, actually the law passed multiple years ago, but they postponed the putting into effect because of the pandemic, but they're now are doing it, okay? Now, so that comes into question about the ability to measure. How do you measure Starbucks? They have to be able to measure how much of carbon footprint they reduced. And then when you say that government said we have to reduce this, say, 50% of carbon footprint by next year, government is not going to measure for you. You have to produce the verifiable data. Okay, how do you do that? The measuring itself is a complicated process. You cannot just count how many cups and then blah blah blah, and then how many cups we sold is not good enough. So they're actually have a process for it. So using this type of cups and then other processes online, each cup is actually gets registered online. Actually, he's going that far that any tumblers, you have own home, you can put a barcode on it. You can actually use your own. Okay, so he's working on that solution as well. So that's it. Also, then as a customer, I mean, why do I have to go through, bring my cups that I use and bring all the way back? I don't want, I'm also lazy as anybody else, so why do I now? I just like simply bring this and throw it away, I have to make it give me some incentives. Well, that's a solution. We have that too, because they already have their cryptocurrency called ESGC. ESG. Here's I talked about this already. By the way, I'm going to go back. Here's cups and his patent for that trackable, reusable container with antibacterial protection. And this is what I'm talking about, ESG coin. So they issued a coin already. So they're going to incentivize the end users like me that if I bring this back to the service center, I know I'm getting some money back. Okay, I don't have to worry about it. Now, frankly, I don't know if we do this or not. California and New York, whenever you buy a bottled water, you pay probably here we go too. It says Hawaii, Connecticut, it says 5 cents deposit. In Oregon, it's 10 cents. Okay, we don't do it. So I know I'm paying 10 cents more if I buy this from Oregon, right? But am I get the 10 cents back in my pocket? No, I know it's not going to. I'm not going to bring this to claim 10 cents, right? It's going to the vendor, right? So I know I'm not doing it a favor, so there's no motivation for me, right? But based on our system, you don't have to worry about it. As soon as you bring the cup back, it gets tracked, and then it gets accumulated, it will give you the award by the token or even purchasing power for future items. Okay, so it's tied. Also, portion of proceed will go to the actual restaurant because restaurant is also a customer as well, not the end users. So they will be able to share a portion of the proceeds. You have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is the cost of, say, a cup of coffee at Starbucks in South Korea as seen as it's here or not?
Actually, I think a little more expensive. Yeah, a little more expensive.
And, like, is there not a scope on this is going to rise the costs? I get the benefit of having the coin. I get the benefit of the end user restaurant having the benefit that they're doing the program, but the cost of having the space for that versus the costs and usability of using something like that.
Right. So, good question. I'll simply answer that. The law is on our side. Like I said, in the middle of this year, they'll have to slash the number of usage on the disposable cups. Okay, so they'll have to use reusable cups. I mean, how else are customers gonna take the coffee out, right? They'll have to use this. So no matter what, the Starbucks or Mario's Coffee in Korea will be forced to use this. And good thing about Dawa is that they've been researching for at least a few years ago. They've been putting time and money, get a patent, and all that. So they're ready. Okay. And yes, sir.
Let me explain too. There's advantages to the consumer and to the restaurant. If I own a restaurant and they all want to
So again, I told you about the problem. I told you about the value proposition, which is the reducing the amount of disposable containers, and also ability to measure carbon footprint. This is a good, actually big, it's going to be big for Korean companies because now the law is already passed. The US companies, I don't think we are that far, but we know we're going to go that direction because we're Americans, and including myself, are lucky enough to have an abundance of the resource, so we don't have to worry about it. But we'll be hitting that roadblock later on. So that's why I'm bringing here ahead of time so they get situated and then go through all the troubleshooting ahead of time. And then also they provide incentives to customers, restaurant diners to use actual system. We're not going to just push it to somebody's mouth to use ours. Never going to work. We're going to give a lot of carrots, in other words. Okay, so that is actually what it is. And here's our team. And then here's, but I'd like to give a chance to the president sitting right here, Mr. Bae, a few words about the company. And then also Mr. here.
Hi.
Welcome.
네, I'm CEO of Dawa Corporation Korea. Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you.
And she is also flown in from Korea with them. Days ago, her name is Jian Lee. She's the CMO of this company.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jian Lee. I'm the CMO of the corporation from Korea. I am very happy to introduce our business project to you, and I hope also you all scan
So another thing that I was going to mention is that they actually QR code. If you're interested, before you walk out, you can scan it. Okay, you will see right here. If you scan the QR code, it's already up and running. It will tell you how much of carbon dioxide you're saving. Okay, and then gets tracked. So your point is not only just the returning it. It will tell you how much you're making as a consumer contributing to saving the earth, meaning how much you're reducing reducing your own carbon footprint. Okay, as an end user, you'll be able to track. You don't have to track it. System will track it for you. When you get a QR code, when you register, then you will be able to see it on your phone. And then that gets tied to our reward system. And that gets collected by the company, like Starbucks. So that's what I meant by ability to measure carbon footprint, because Starbucks know exactly that. Also, it's good for the customer, good for the company as well, because they know that customers' consuming pattern. Okay, we're trying to make it in a way that it's their privacy is guarded, but in general they'll be able to. So that's actually data, right? So that's another model. So anyway, yeah. So that's it. If you're interested, scan the QR code on the way out, and then. Yeah.
Question. So why did you guys at Tower decide to create your own mainnet versus going with an existing?
Good question. Well, first of all, mainnet, the gas fee is cheaper, right? Yeah. When you transfer Ethereum now, how much you're gonna pay? You know that, right? It's up and down, right? Yeah. So also there's a unique area. I know there's pros and cons. We've been talking about this over and over. There's the pros and cons, but the way we was that creating when you own when you have a new mainnet, you own it. Okay. Frankly, if you want to switch the gear to another platform, it's easy. Creating a mainnet only is a lot more complicated, more expensive, but have a resource, so might as well do it. And then we started this project a few years ago, actually. So so we did all that. And then but then this gas fee went up. Actually become an advantage for us because so we can control the pretty much gas fee and all that. That's one major advantage. Yeah. Any more questions?
For our guests, how many of you have invested in crypto already?
I think a lot of them are here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And like I said, a lot of these Korean market especially younger generation. If you don't have investment in crypto, you're oddball. I'm here too. You're here to USA. You know, I have 2 children. All right, they're 20s. They've been investing in crypto without my knowledge since they were a teenager. So, you know, I mean, that's what it is. We had this conversation with this young lady who's been sitting from me, but yeah, that's what it is. I'm not encouraging, by the way, I'm not encouraging go invest your money, life savings to crypto, okay? But we're just talking about the trend here, okay? The trend, especially U.S. and South Korean trend and global. Again, I'm not here to sell my token or anybody's coin, anything like that, but I want to share the information as far as I know based on this. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions?
Do any of you spend crypto regularly, like to go buy a Snickers bar or whatever you buy?
I spend it daily. I spend it every day. So I live off crypto. I mean, I use my crypto.com or, I just got it connected with my Apple Pay.
Sure.
So, yeah.
You don't live in South.
I don't. Did you walk into that crypto cafe? I know we were tight scheduled. We passed by a lot. I told him, hey, 2 years ago, right at the corner of Gangnam area. Gangnam is like mad, a very expensive area. It's a cafe. Back then, you have ability to pay your coffee or anything with Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, 2 of them actually. Yeah, we were able to do that, right there. So we created a lot of places already accepting crypto as a form of payment. So now it's more than before, of course. 2 years passed. So so again, like I said, now real estate, Zaira Street, my company, we are giving the option. So like I said, if you want to buy a condo in Korea, well, now you can pay with your Ethereum or Bitcoin. So that's another option. And there's no, I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think internationally there's no law against it as long as you go by all the proper document for tax filing. Yeah, yeah. So it just just don't have to go through the all the traditional banking system to wire the money, right? So yeah, if you're up for it, and of course there's risk in crypto value go up and down during that period, right? But that's risk for it anyway, right? So yeah. And then of course you have to worry about your cyber security on your wallet, but everybody knows about it. Yeah? So those are the things. So I think I present this of course to South Korean market, and they're very keen, have a keen interest in what we're doing. That's why we actually went ahead listed the token, Zaira token, in trading, in exchange right now. It's trading right now. Let me ask you though. You asked me why create a mainnet. What do you think of your opinion? Having a mainnet versus, as a regular pigeons, having own a mainnet versus traditional platform like Ethereum or Bitcoin. What do you think?
Well, for me, if you're talking Bitcoin, then it makes sense. But if you start talking Ethereum or any other chain, then going over your mainnet, I think is a bigger benefit. Like you're talking about pros and cons wise. But if you're talking about the Bitcoin network, because I saw on the slide, it was like it's 20 times faster than Bitcoin. And I'm assuming because you said you started this company a couple of years ago. Right. So back then it made sense. But now when you have the Lightning network, you know, that speed, like that statistics is no longer true. Right? So then,
correct. Yeah. So it is true. Yeah. But then we have a processes. So we are in the crypto market. But as you saw so far, we don't put just all our eggs in the crypto market. We're not just here to issue a cryptocurrency and make millions. That's not us. Crypto is portion of our business model. So in other words, we're a real game. Some companies, they issue cryptocurrency and then everything ends there, right? But for us, we are actually building the actual business, and the crypto has become part of it. Okay, so that's different. So that's why we're not focusing on creating a creating and not creating, but creating really done, improving and updating crypto on a monthly basis because we're going to focus our resource on developing actual product and service our customers.
Right.
But I think that's the right way to approach because when our business becomes successful, our crypto value will go up naturally, just like stock, right? That's our philosophy. That's why a lot of people like it because some people think that, okay, crypto is good, but you do a lot of, you promote your token only and then nothing follows, value collapse. But we actually try to do is, and so far, you see a list of 3 companies has a crypto element to it, and all of the companies that I'm working with have that business model. We have a business model, and the crypto is a part of it. Okay, so we're not building a crypto first, and then just a crypto alone. We know it's not going to sustain the value. So
right, and because that was about like recycling and it's good for the environment, and when I think about getting the coin, most likely I'm probably gonna switch it to something else I can use like Bitcoin. So I may not, but then again, your whole main chain is very young, so there may be like you're talking about with the business model, you guys creating other things. So if you do create those other things, that'll make me wanna just use it as is versus change it to something else for my convenience.
right, okay, good. Actually, yeah. So the reason that I asked you that question was that we've been talking about this. We already have a mainnet, we already have a token, and we already secured the trademark. Okay, so we own everything comfortable. But I'll be honest with you, creating a mainnet and then running it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's a business decision, a proper business decision that are we gonna do this? But luckily, we already have it secured. We already spent time and money for it, so we already own it. And then now the other option is a lot cheaper for us. As you know, it sounds like you're a crypto and blockchain expert already, right? So
I don't call myself an expert now.
okay, well you know the game, right? So so we've been talking about this a lot of times, and then actually. Again, I'm sorry if I lost you. I assume a lot of you already know the crypto, but if you don't know what I was talking about, just terminology, feel free to ask me. I happen to know a lot more because I put my skin in the game. I know a lot more than average person, but if you just walk in not knowing, what are you talking about ESG or I talking about mainnet? What is that? Ask me. Feel free. There's no embarrassment on this. Yes, sir.
You mentioned an ICO scenario in South Korea that was a nightmare. Can you summarize that for all of us quick? I'm not familiar with it.
Right. So this is back more than 5 years, several years, more than about, I think 8, 9 years ago. Let me double check that. Sorry about the camera. There's somebody watching from other countries here. Sorry. Multiple years ago, I'm trying to pinpoint it, close to about 10 years ago. The problem becomes the crypto. When you remember that Bitcoin went up skyrocket, right? And everybody was investing. And there's something called Asian premium back then. Okay, so this is what's happening. Okay, so if you try to do this too late, okay, if you buy a crypto Bitcoin today and then sell it, turn around sell it to somebody in Korea, all right, and you get about 20% gain because the demand was so high. So there is a tremendous difference in the market price value. Okay, so knowing this, people will go crazy. Hey, I mean honestly, there's multiple people that I know who make to get advantage of it. Okay, but the market became too hot, so that people investing money, and then you cannot control the price ups and downs as an individual or even one company, right? So eventually, Bitcoin collapsed, right? So people make investment assuming that okay, this is gonna go 10,000 in a week. Well, it didn't happen. Now what happened? All those people lost a lot of money, and become a problem in the society because a lot of like I said, some people who put all the eggs in one basket, that basket it collapsed. Well, sorry, you lost it. So some people try to commit suicide. Okay, this was on the news. I don't know anybody personally like that, but in South Korea, so government had to step in to do something about it. So that was the nutshell of what's going on and why they had to ban the ICO. And South Korea is not the only country, right? A lot of countries banning ICO because crypto investment is very risky market, and then not only price up and down, but a lot of exchanges, the founder took the money and ran away. You know that, right? Canadian, South African, you know?
Jeff, Jerry Cotton.
Yeah, Jerry Cotton. Yeah, that's the one class, the first one. Yeah, very successful. He faked it. People think that he faked his death. And yeah, he's dying, right? I don't have a opinion on that one, but there's a multiple cases, not just him. There's most recently the brothers in South Africa, they actually disappeared. They took all the money, they just emptied the exchange wallet and they disappeared. So there's a risk. Okay, so this is the risk that we have to go through. So that is why, as a country, and I think our political leaders are considering that. Okay, so now SEC, in like stock exchange, I see the bankers and the experts in finance, they'll have opinion on that one. I'll probably ask you the question. So it's in control, but crypto market is still not regulated or tight control. But another question is that, do we really want that tight control? There's always pros and cons. If you want to make something tight, people lose interest, okay? Because we all entrepreneurs, we want to be able to do something other than what we've been doing traditionally, right? So that is why the crypto market is so prevalent right now. Because if we sell the same thing in same as crypto selling, buying in crypto same way, I don't think you even here today talking about it, right? Don't you agree? We're doing it because it's decentralized, something that never happened before. Now we know that, okay, whatever I do, I have more power to make a whole decision-making process as a democratic and capitalistic way, right? So that's the name of the game, right? Yeah. So actually, Rick, so what do you think? He happened to be Rob. Sorry, I know him so well, but I'll talk to Rob. So he is part of one of the very prominent bank in town. You don't have to tell the name if you don't want to, but yeah, go ahead, ask me. Please share your opinion on this in crypto, in your perspective. I always wondered about the people with your expertise. What do you think of it?
I think there's just a lot of unknown for banks. There's just so much unknown. So the banking industry is I think there's a big fear on how it's going to impact everything. So I mean, as a banker, I'm still learning it. I mean, I'm very green I'm probably way behind most people because I'm very much traditional stock market and everything else. But I embrace it at the same time. So, but I think as banking, my bank specifically, we're embracing the change. But what that means is we're eyes and ears are open. So we're not going to institute any of it. We're not going to use any of it just because it's kind of a wait and see, because there's too much of a crumble that could take place, right? You said the risk involved with this. So the first bank that jumps into it, everybody's gonna be watching. It's just like the first bank that really jumps into financing marijuana. When that first bank really jumps in, everybody's gonna watch. Because you heard in our St. Louis area, there's a couple of banks that when they first announced it, they said they're gonna do it. Every one of them pulled back. They instantly pulled back. They're like, whoa, because there's a whole lot of laws in. So, and I think that's what's going to happen with crypto. It's the same thing. It's going to happen. We're all going to have it. It's just, I think there's so many unknowns still because it's still so new for mainstream that we're going to have to learn it.
Right. Good point. Yeah. Actually, Jeff, so you want to share your experience about the financing side of it with the crypto?
Finance, what do you mean? Which one?
Remember, Jeff got so much expertise and resource. Some of the companies that you work with, remember that presentation? Collateralize your crypto portfolio for financing. I think it's good because there's overs are in.
Yeah, so I'm doing this myself, but we use a platform. There's a lot of platforms out there, but with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and those are the main coins, you can actually collateralize it and borrow against your Bitcoin. And basically you can take up, it's similar because Bitcoin is considered a property. You can basically take up to 70% against your Bitcoin. So if it's worth, if you have $100,000 of Bitcoin, theoretically you can take out $70,000, similar to a HELOC loan. I would never do that as far as in collateralizing 70% because the price of Bitcoin fluctuates. And if it drops down 50% overnight, then you could get a margin call, right? So I always tell people, if you're going to do that, if you're going to borrow against your Bitcoin or your Ethereum, stick with 20-30% tops. The benefit of doing that is you don't have to pay any taxes, right? If you because you're not selling, you're just borrowing against it. So instead of selling your Bitcoin, instead of selling your Bitcoin to buy equipment like mining equipment or other tokens, with traditional exchanges, if you're selling it, you have to pay capital gains on what you made on that coin. So, but if you borrow against it, there's no capital gains taxes, and you're basically just paying it back at the end of the term. They do 3 months, 6 months, 1 year term, and interest rates vary depending on how much you're collateralizing. If you're collateralizing 50 to 70%, the rates are going to be a lot higher. But if you're doing only 10, 20, 30%, then the interest rates are much cheaper. And a lot of people are doing this because with Bitcoin, it's the average return on the Bitcoin has been 130% year over year the last 10 years. So if you're paying 6% interest to borrow against your Bitcoin and you're getting 100% return over a year, then it makes sense. So that's kind of the strategy some folks are doing. We use a company called SmartFi. We've been doing it for a while now. If you want to use, there's Celsius, there's BlockFi, there's so many different institutions that are starting to get into this as far as the borrowing aspect. But it's a great way just to be able to do what Jeff Bezos is doing. He borrowed against the stocks. That's why he's not paying a ton of taxes, because he doesn't have an income. He just borrows against it. But yeah, if you guys have more questions, we've sat down with folks to help them kind of walk through how to do that. That's one of the benefits of Crypto World is we're a group that you can come to, ask questions, and we can walk you through everything and kind of be that eyes over your shoulder, make sure you're not sending $80,000 to some random person or getting scammed, which happens, right? So that's about it.
Right, good, thank you. Yeah. So like Jeff said, there's whole industry evolving. Okay, like we have a CPA here sitting right there. Actually, he's got a certified public accountant, Mr. Shin, and he has a little different opinion. I'll be honest with you. I had a discussion with him about crypto, and it takes a little more convincing to him. But he owns he told me he's a small investor, but it's a market that's evolving, including financing, just not just investment, financing, using it as collateral. Like Jeff said, there's multiple factors you have to consider to be successful. And then so and then also I want to mention again that today is a Wefunder day for Crypto World. Okay, so I'm here actually both purpose. My company USAKO Group, but I also partner with crypto. So I want to make sure I mention that again, so that we all. And the goal is that imagine you see a Crypto World. Jeff is wearing this T-shirt. Actually, Jonas wearing T-shirt. There's imagine that the Crypto World store in Korea. So okay, actually we were just talking about it with it. Okay, so it's right now there's a great potential in the market, and the Crypto World's here to help that to implement and make it realize the dream. Okay, so anyway, I think that's actually what I have. And any questions? Yes, go ahead.
유저를 텀블러를 이용할 때에는 ESDC 메인넷이든 저희가 토큰을 발행하든 그걸로 보상을 주고, 집에 있는 텀블러를 갖고 와서 저희에게 가입을 하고 이제 QR을 찍어서 이거를 내가 직접 사용하게 되면 가입하는 순간 저희가 그분 소유의 NFT를 발행을 해드린다는 정책을 알려주세요. 그럼 그 NFT의 소유권을 갖게 되고.
아까 그 얘기 했어요, 다시. 했는데.
아까 이분들이 다 스캔해 본 게 이제 이게 내 텀블러면 나의 그 소유 NFT라.
So she's got a great passion about Tawa, okay? And I do too. I share the same passion. So she wanna test that QR code you experienced, actually, it's basically creating an NFT. In other words, if you, how many tumblers, actually, yesterday I got 2 tumblers last night. I went to dinner, dinner yesterday, and then they gave me, on the way out, they gave me a small gift. I opened it, it was tumbler, okay? It was from the law office with their name on it. And everybody has multiple tumblers in your dark space of your closet. So one of these models is, like I said earlier, take it out, and then when you create a QR code, it actually create an NFT, and then you own the NFT. Okay, so that's actually what she was saying. Okay? It's a little too advanced right now. If you are not believing in NFT or not sure, why you're doing it, but it'll bring a value because number one, it's another motivation for customers like me, end user like me, to dig around my closet and then get out of my closet and then bring it to the service center or store. Hey, I want to register this. Boom. And then it gets into a system, and then I own that the NFT, and then as well as based on the NFT, I own the the right to collect the future reward. Okay, along with the NFT. Okay, so that's what it is. So I think Dollar has a lot of these lines. In a way, you feel they're too many, but we've been researching and studying market for many years, so that's where we're right. And his background is food and service marketing, Korean industry. He owns a point of sale POS system. He actually one of the first point of sale inventor in Korea, which ties to telephone and internet together. Okay, and he still owns the company running. Okay, so has experience in that industry. So that's here. All right, go ahead.
Idea of discounts on trying to have more points being able to tie in other companies that if they have like how McDonald's used to have the little figurines they used to get when having meals, being able to have like an idea where you partner with somebody and have a new such and such movie is coming out and more movie and with that or just different stuff like that. You can have an NFT and it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So that's actually what it is. And yeah, again, bring value to the customer and that motivates them, right? So we're trying to create a system where number one, we want to win for our planet, and then for end user, company, and then dollar. We're trying to create a system where everybody wins. Okay, so that's what. So I think we are talking up here. So I'm going to turn the table back to Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Han, for thank you for coming here to the USA. I know you guys flew far, and the weather is not the best right now, but we appreciate you being here, presenting about your company and what you guys are doing in South Korea. I think it's great that that South Korea is doing big things in the blockchain crypto space, because then the U.S. needs to be able to kind of open their eyes and say, you know what, we need to be able to compete with them if we want to, be one of the dominant countries to get in the space. But we appreciate, Han, for setting this up. If you guys have more questions, is there a contact or email or?
My email is simple, just the CEO, Chief Executive Officer at my company, USAKO.com. Probably here somewhere. Okay. Also, I have a business card I can hand out to you. Okay. So just let me know.
Yeah. So all day today, our Wefunder goes live at noon today. So we want to be able to do this all over the U.S., if not all over the world, to have a platform that individuals or businesses can speak about what they're doing, to be able to help support the community. So once we goes live, if you can invest as little as $100 or more, but if you can't, we appreciate if you guys would share the Wefunder link. It'll be on our website. We'll also email it to everybody that was at this event. But yeah, we're excited to be able to, like I said, just do this all over. Our goal is 500 locations all over the USA and also all over the world. So I think Seoul is already talking about opening one up there. We have somebody from El Salvador, Mexico, that's looking to open one up there also. We're franchising this. And question?
I think it's already live because I already invested before I got here.
Yeah, that was friends and family link, right? So that the actual one to the public doesn't go live till noon. So you're special. So, but thank you for investing. And there's a few folks here too that have invested. Thank you so much. I know Paul is a big supporter back there. He's in the corner, but big supporter of us. We just love doing what we do here. We trialed this for 6-7 months. Because nothing has ever been done like this. It was 6 months of trial and error. And after 6 months, we finally got out what direction we're going to take. So we're, doing these events, also, focus on the mining and the staking side. I think it will help us become sustainable. But a few days ago, we were at a high school teaching, right? And we got a lot of online social media comments on how great that was. So we can go to high schools and be able to educate the youth. And also we're working a lot with politicians to be able to not only help them get elected that are pro crypto, but also, just help educate them. So that's what we're all about, is being the rising tide to lift the whole industry. And I think we can do it. So thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be back probably at noon to do countdown. But thank you, Han, and thank you everyone that was here.
I also want to thank you for taking your time out and coming out for this event, and people appreciate it. Thanks.
That'll be called first.